Good morning, traders. Today is Friday, November 4th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right, well, we just opened with a gap up. So the first order of business for the market is to try to pull back down towards yesterday's high, looking to fill that gap. If they are not able to get to yesterday's high, if they find support up here above that level, or if they pull down to yesterday's high and then they find support there, it is what we call a gap and go scenario, which is bullish for continuation to the upside. So we're looking to see, where do they find support? Ironically, they're gapping through a gap down that we left behind yesterday. So that further increases the odds that there is quite a bit of weakness in here in need of backfilling. A gap inside a gap. For some reason, my window trader, all on its own, decided to switch to 1 tick increments this morning. And when I tried to switch back to 2, it crashed the old computer. So I guess we're watching it in 1 tick for the moment. So if the profiles seem a little more elongated, a little more stretched out than usual, that's why. So they are still trying to fill the gap. Can they get to yesterday's high, 37.58? Good morning, Ryan, John the Shah, Caffeine, T. Wark, Morty, RK, Chris, Eldora, Fletch, Mosh, David V, chillin' with Dylan, Win Trade, Caffeine, TV, Nap, Pavel, Gino, River, Lewis, Jordan, and Mr. E. Welcome. TGIF, everyone. Andy and Nicholas as well. Welcome. Michael TBIF. Too bad it's Friday. Bro, you could always trade crypto. Trade crypto over the weekend. All right, so this is around the half gap fill level. We got some potential support here in this node around 37.69. Yes, that same 69 that we've revisited a 1,000 times, it feels like, in the last few weeks. So there's some potential support there. If not, the gap fill remains the target. Okay, so no support there, and we're getting a bit of a liquidation. Remember that liquidations actually strengthen a market because they take out the weak hands and they give stronger hands a chance to buy. One place stronger hands might want to buy is on the filling of the gap. So we're looking for support around 37.58. No faith required. Where does crypto trade on weekends? Can I use Interactive Broker? I don't know. I've never used Interactive Broker. I don't know if they have. They probably just trade the futures there. So you'd need a crypto exchange. There's a link in the description for Coinbase. Scooball, look at the queue. All right, so the queue also opened with a gap. They filled that gap and are continuing down into yesterday's range. It's a little bit bearish to see. Looking for support pretty much right where they found it. Anywhere between like 815 and 788. MQ, Coinbase is the only one I trust for custody. All right, there's the gap fill. So now the question is, do the buyers step in to try to continue this momentum up? Or was the trading in the overnight just a short covering rally? And now we're going to get back into the momentum that we had yesterday. So do we find support at yesterday's high, or do we pull back down into yesterday's range? Pulling into the range is bearish. Finding support is bullish. Can they keep those ticks above that zero line? Can they hold that support? As of now, it's a gap and go. Can they hold it? All right, pulling into yesterday's range is bearish. That means we do not have the momentum that the gap indicated, increasing the odds. This was just short covering in the overnight and not new buying. So that is bearish to see. Unfortunately, now we just got to kind of figure out, will we find support inside yesterday's range, or will we get continuation lower? So I suspect it's going to be a little choppy inside yesterday's range. I don't know if we're going to kind of like find support here, bounce up and slowly grind lower, or if we're going to have like a liquidation break kind of drop and then slowly grind higher. But I have a feeling we're about to spend some time bouncing around inside yesterday's range. If we are able to push all the way down below 37.25, it gets very, very bearish for continuation to the downside. But until then, I expect it to be kind of a choppy, muddy zone in here. As we work our way lower. All right, so now that fun game of support and resistance. Does resistance hold? Does support hold? Does resistance hold? Does support hold? As we chop our way through yesterday's range. Okay, first potential resistance here at 52. All right, through that, now we got a low volume node that needs backfilling at 56. Once they backfill that, is that enough to bring in the sellers? Marty, I want to hear a support and resistance song. It's a bit early, isn't it? What's the back song? What am I mimicking? Packy Track Team America. You know that's my favorite. Uh, Support and resistance. Fuck yeah. It'll hold the market down, then push it into the support. Yeah. Can the buyer step in there? Back and forth it goes from one to the other, then it's done. Support and resistance. Fuck yeah. All right, so now we start testing the support. The resistance held. Will the support? All right, well, that wasn't much of a bounce on that first support. So heading down to test the next one, around 34. Knapp says, this is too fast. Robert says, is anyone in? And Q says it's about being ahead in the count. Yeah, it's about you don't want to try to be first. But as soon as the market gives you a signal that something is or isn't happening, you want to get into the trade right away and not wait around. But you want to wait and, let somebody else make the decision first. So you wait to see is there support at yesterday's high before you assume it'll go lower. But then as soon as there isn't, you know it wants to go lower. How do you want to be positioned for that? All right, they're through that resistance. There's the backfill of that low volume node. So now we're looking for resistance just above yesterday's high at 3760. I'm a little confused why the ticks are still all the way down here. It's like my screen is frozen or something. It's weird. Are you guys that aren't working, are you all on TD Ameritrade? That must be what it is. Those bastards. Scooball has ticks from TradingView. Well, Scooball's the only one who can see what's going on underneath the hood of the market right now. He's got the edge. He's got the edge. Do, do, do. He knows what ticks are doing. Yep, that's support. All right, well, I'm going to stay bearish as long as we stay below the halfback here. But if we push back through 37.64, I'll be back to neutral. To remain bearish, we really should have stayed inside of yesterday's range. So the fact that we pushed back up above yesterday's high, and we're now doing a business above yesterday's high, is obviously not bearish. All right, so I'm back to neutral. It's looking like a chop fest here on this Friday. It's looking like a chop fest for the market today. It's looking like a chop fest going nowhere. Taking all your money, picking all your pockets all day. All right, so, normally I'd be starting to get bullish right now, right? I'd be saying, ooh, we had a gap above. We came back. We only had to spend a little bit of time inside yesterday's range, and we were immediately able to push back above, and we're now finding support above yesterday's range. So normally I'd be getting pretty bullish right now for continuation to the upside. But knowing that we're fighting against all this momentum, I'm less bullish. And I really am going to need to watch it do as I did down here. Right? I said I need to watch how it handles support and resistance. I watched it. It held support. It broke through resistance. So I went from being bearish back to neutral. I'll now need to see that same thing happen in reverse to get bullish. I'll need to see them start to break through resistance and create support. And then I'll get bullish. But right now, I'm feeling like we're going to get some chop. It's also not helping that I'm in one tick increments. And so the range seems much bigger than normal. Jordan, look at the dollar index. Every dollar goes down, SPX goes up. Bro, then you should just watch the dollar index and just do the inverse with the ES. If the dollar's going up, you should just short the ES and vice versa. Screwball support question mark? I mean, yeah, support at the halfback, but it's chop. This is just pocket picking. PW Chillers. PW Chillers. Killers. Is Mapbook the main thing you watch for order flow? How valuable do you find it? It's the only thing I watch. Bookmap, you mean? Yeah. How valuable do I find it? I find it really valuable. It's not. I couldn't use it by itself. I couldn't only look at Bookmap and make trade ideas from it. I feel like it would give you a lot of mixed signals and cause a lot of confusion. But what I like to use it as is a further market internal. So the same way I use the four things that you see on this screen, there's the ticks, these two on the bottom right, the advancers versus decliners up here on the top right, the breadth in the middle, and then over here on the left side, you see the 15-minute candles with the 20 moving average. So that's what I call the market internals. And basically the way I use those is I come up with an idea of what I think the market is doing based on what I'm seeing within the price action on the market profile. And then I use the internals as a way to sort of give me a second opinion. Like, okay, I think I'm finding support here at the halfback. Let me go look at the ticks and see, are they pushing higher, right? They're not working right now. But that's the way I use the internals. I use Bookmap exactly the same way. So when I think the market is finding support, I'm looking over here to see, is it mostly stops that are getting squeezed down here? Is it people using icebergs to enter their trades? What's happening with the large nodes of volume? Where do they appear and when? The when they appear and disappear is really, really important to let you know when there's changes in the market. So for example, at the same moment that they broke through this resistance right here, they ditched the volume down here and they pulled it up to here. That's called flipping the order books. So they flipped the shorts into longs. What that does is it breaks the market higher. So it's just one more piece of data to consider when looking at price action. So Jordan, if you don't mind me asking, if you think there's no way to use the information to trade, why take the time to look at it? Why not spend the time you're looking at the dollar, looking at a thing that can give you information you can use for trading? Food for thought. Geo, why is the middle line resistance? Because of the major node on the cumulative right here. You can see where's the fattest point on that node right there. That's also the middle of this giant node that we had from the overnight, which ended up being resistance. So, the resistance might be right here. It might be right here. It might be right here. But it's just this general area in here. This is where we have enjoyed doing business in the past. We will likely do business there again in the future. So, Charles, what are we supposed to do? It's Friday. They're chopping. They're chopping it on up. What are we supposed to do? Are we just going to be bored all day? Well, here's the good news. The good news is this is such a momentous moment for the market right now. We've had so much volatility the last few days. If they break the initial balance one way or another, we will likely get continuation in that direction. So being patient as the market chops and tries to decide which way to go will likely present opportunities to get some excess once we break. I'm feeling that coiling effect. They're pulling that rubber band back tighter and tighter. They're winding up that spring more and more and more. Okay, so support is holding, but we're starting to break through resistance. That's a little bit bullish. Now the question, can we turn previous resistance into support? Can we turn 76 into support? All right. No pullback to even test 76 is new buyers at the highs. That is bullish as well. I do believe they're starting to build momentum. Ah, and I don't have the ticks. Yes, they are building momentum. So now can they keep the ticks above the zero line? Can they keep this momentum? Okay. Sung to keep on running. You know all my favorite tunes. Do they just keep on buying? Yeah. Yeah, Nick, that's the Thinkorswim platform. You can get them on TradingView. There's a link in the description. It's free. You can just sign up and get the old ticks on there. Scooball, those are TradingView ticks that I just showed. I guess you could turn off this SMA. Nick says, hate having to use TradingView. Why? TradingView is so much better than Thinkorswim. It's so much cleaner of a platform. There it is. Got to pay for it. Gotcha. All right. So, moment of truth. If the market is trying to break higher here, they should be able to turn this previous resistance at 76 into support. So, can they hold it? If they cannot, more chop. If they can, then we're heading back up to try to get above the overnight high again. Morty, I also do that. I pay for it with Black Friday. I'm like always a year ahead on my membership because of that. Ironic, everyone I know buys it on Black Friday. It's like traders know how to find the best deal. Oh, speaking of which, that's coming up. That's in a few weeks. There you go, chilling with Dylan as well. I'm telling you, everyone always says that. It's like their business model is get people to sign up for the free version and then give them such a great deal on Black Friday that they can't pass it up. They'll every time it's like 60% off, 75. You're like, whoa, like I gotta buy it. It's such a good deal. It only comes around once a year. And then that's how they get everyone. All right, so I am bullish for continuation to the upside as long as we stay above this support at 75. I also need to see the market right now push above the overnight high once again and start to bring in volume up there. If they push back above the overnight high and they come back down and they can't create support up in here, then I'll be back to neutral looking for more chop once again. But I think they're trying to at least poke up there and see if they can bring in the new buyers. So let's find out. Scooball, it is potential for some big short covering today. Certainly is, yeah. There's got to be some big players that were taken by surprise by the sell-off that might be looking for a good entry on the long side. You know what I mean? I mean on the short side. So they might be wanting the market to pull back to give them a chance to get short up in here or something. You know what I mean? But you. But let's take it one step at a time. Now that we're back above that overnight high, can we bring in buyers up here? Can we hold the support? All right, PW, have a good weekend. All right, so as we print the C period here, we left behind some single prints in the B period. Those are likely to get backfilled, and we will look for support at the base of those single prints, 37.90. If they break the C period above the B period high, the market will begin to trend higher. That would be bullish for continuation to the upside. I would say if we do break the B period high with the C period, the first target for resistance above would be 38.08, which was the base of that spike down. So remember, that spike down was the market telling us it had momentum to the downside. So that will once again be a very important level when we test it on the way back up. Do we get resistance there, which would be a confirmation of that momentum down, or are we able to blow right through that level, which would be a little more bullish? Okay. So I would describe myself as bullish right now, cautiously so. If we start to one time frame, I'd be looking to test 38.08 and see what happens when we get there. Do we get resistance or continuation to the upside? If we get continuation, just stay with the momentum as long as it continues to one time frame and it starts one time framing. Okay, so just like that, the market is trending higher. Act accordingly. I hope everyone has just a fantastic weekend, enjoys the nice weather for your probably last chance, and we'll look forward to seeing you here on Monday morning. If you are not a member of the brigade, there's never a better time than to join than on a Friday. So give it some consideration, and we'll see you on Monday morning. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.